Alright, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week we're talking about early mountain bikes and if they're worth it for you to get and mountain bike on today. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that little bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content we got on this channel. Right on to the video, we are talking about early mountain bikes today. So as you can tell, this is my good old Cycle Pro Carlsbad. I just picked this bike up, and this is your perfect example of a late 80s mountain bike. So before we start talking about mountain bikes, we need to just talk about where they exactly came from. So mountain bikes started around 80s and 90s when it started becoming popular. Mountain bikes are mainly beach cruisers with motorcycle parts attached to them. So if you look at this bike as an early example, you can tell a lot of styling cues from a beach cruiser put into a mountain bike. So with that being said, there's some things from beach cruisers on this bike that are seen very commonly in beach cruisers, and some things that are more of a mountain bike, road bike centered product. So first off, let's go through this bike and what this bike has set up on it. So it has a basic 3x drivetrain right up on the front. It does have 5 gears in the back. So it is a very basic gear set on this bike. We have good old Cantilever brakes, basic 26 by 1.9 tires, so again, very thin mountain bike tires by today's standards, and of course a fully rigid frame on there. And you got your good old riser bars as well. So what are some things that this shares with a beach cruiser? So first thing, it's pretty obvious if you can look really closely, these wheels are a chrome plated wheel. Guess what chrome is not good at? It's not good as being a braking surface. So even though you have cantilever brakes on here, these wheels, they don't work together. They don't work very well together and don't provide you near the braking power you would get, even with modern V-brakes and a modern rim brake compatible wheel. They have much better braking surfaces and are designed to have really good stopping power compared to these. These are essentially off of a beach cruiser with just rim brakes on it. So that's the one thing that you will see from a beach cruiser as a big fault with these early bikes is the wheels, especially the ones they come with originally, are not really designed for the rigors of modern mountain biking, which is mainly focused on extreme, technical, hard descents, and a lot of braking and a lot of control on the bike. Definitely does not have that on there. So the next thing we'll go ahead and look at the gearing on this bike. So even the smallest gear on the front, that looks like maybe a 38 tooth. It's not very small. On a relatively new mountain bike that has a 3x drivetrain, you're gonna have a very low gear, generally around like a 30 to a 32 tooth as your smallest gear. Therefore, it allows you to have good climbing capabilities. This does not have that small gear at all. And on the back, it doesn't really have a big gear either. That's probably, I'd say about 28 tooth on the back. That's like road bike gearing right on the back. So it's really not that wide of a range for being able to ride fast on the flats and ride slow and gradual on the climbs. It definitely is not capable of doing that very well. Moving on from there, you have your cantilever brakes. And I know a lot of you don't like cantilever brakes. Cantilever brakes, they're very basic. They essentially have a cable that connects the two arms together, and then a cable that pretty much pulls those and pulls the arms together. Very basic setup. A lot of people don't like it because it doesn't apply very much pressure to it, therefore not really giving you much braking power. However, back then, this worked very well. This was one of the better ways to have braking back then without having to change too much on the bike. So let's move on to one of the things you'll notice on modern mountain bikes makes a big difference, and that's going to be in rigidity of your front end. So biggest thing with mountain bikes nowadays is you're going to have a tapered head tube. So you're going to have from much 1.5 to 1.125 or just 1.125 straight tube. You're also going to have thicker bars, you know, a 31/8 or even a 35 millimeters is the new kind of standard coming in. This one here has a standard quill stem here. This is a 1-inch threaded headset on here. So it's a much thinner headset, much thinner steerer tube. And along with that, these are 25.4 millimeter bars. So they're a thinner bar. Along with that, they have this high rise on here. That high rise does not help with rigidity at all on this bike, so it definitely is something that's improved a lot in modern mountain bikes in forms of rigidity in the front end. With this bike, while it may work fine on mountain bike trails, you will notice a huge difference going towards a more modern setup with that, even the 1.125 headset and 31.8 millimeter bars. You're going to notice a big difference between those. So let's call this what this is. So this is your late 80s mountain bike. What I consider an early example of a mountain bike, a good mountain bike nowadays. I wouldn't consider it a great mountain bike. I'd consider this to be a good gravel bike is what I would say. That's become something very popular, and if you look at some of the features on this bike, they line up very well with what a gravel bike is nowadays. They're running a steel frame on here, which is very good at absorbing vibrations. Gravel bikes are driving on gravel most of the time. Therefore, vibration dampening is a large thing for those. You also have a solid rigid fork here. It's not really great for mountain biking most of the time. However, if you're riding on gravel, the design and shape of this fork, as well as it being a steel fork, adds to the comfortability of riding on gravel, makes it much more enjoyable for that. Along with that, the basic gearing on here, with the way it's geared, it's not geared towards large mountain climbs. This is more geared towards a road riding setup. So with that being said, gravel bikes use a slightly lower gear ratio than road bikes do, and this gear set would work great for a flat gravel road or a little bit hilly gravel road. This gear set would work perfectly fine. Along with that, with it being set up for a little bit narrower of a mountain bike tire, a 1.9, you could go with a little thinner or even stick with the same kind of tire. As you can tell with the front here, this is a 1.9 Victoria Evolution. This tire is a very, very good gravel style tire. It has a little bit of aggressiveness to it, but also has a smooth general tread pattern, which makes it roll very well on the road, not have as much rolling resistance as a mountain bike tire would have. So if you have one of these, make a great gravel bike. However, I would probably recommend upgrading to something around, the early 2000s to a 2010. If you're looking for something kind of in a budget, something along those lines would be a much better mountain bike for riding nowadays. You can upgrade to something more modern. Of course, as mountain bikes continue to improve in technology, you're going to have better mountain bikes come out with better technology, better handling, better rigidity, and they're ultimately going to be better. However, if you're looking to do this on a budget, something in that range would probably be what you're looking to get. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love chatting with you guys. Love answering any questions you guys have. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.